Students, let us continue our discussion. In today's session, we will study lapse of offer. Lapse means offer comes to an end. Now, there are different ways in which the offer may come to an end. This will generally be asked as a theory question. So, they will ask you to mention the various circumstances where an offer lapses. So, what are the different ways of lapse of offer? Write down the meaning of lapse. Lapse means to come to an end. Lapse means to come to an end. Now, there are different ways in which an offer may lapse. The first one is by revocation. Now, what is the meaning of revocation? To revoke means to call back. Revoke means to call back. So let's say that X gave an offer to Y. He offered to sell his flat for rupees 50 lakhs. Okay. He wrote a letter offering to sell his flat. He posted his letter on 5th of April. It reached Y on 7th of April. Y read the letter on 7th. He posted the acceptance on 8th and it reached X on 10th. So these are the dates. I hope you understood how I wrote the date. X posted the letter of offer on 5th April. It reached Y on 7th April. Y wrote his acceptance on 8th and he posted it and it reached X on 10th. Now, as soon as Y posts his letter of acceptance, it means X, your offer is accepted. And once the offer is accepted, it cannot be revoked. So X, if you want to call back your offer, like, it happens sometimes, you give the offer and then you realize, I don't want to sell my flat, I've changed my mind. You have given the offer, you want to call it back. So what is the time limit up to which you can call back your offer? So you can call back your offer before it is accepted. Now we are going to discuss this again when we study communication of offer and acceptance. So you will understand this concept better after we finish that part of communication. Now let's do it once again. Okay. X offered to sell his flat to Y. He changed his mind later. X wants to call back his offer. He wants to revoke his offer. So what is the time limit before which X can revoke his offer? He can revoke any time before the acceptance is posted by the offeree. Before the offer is accepted by the offeree. So X has time up to 8th of April. That is before Y gives his acceptance. See, once the offer is accepted, then you cannot call back. Then you cannot call back your offer because offer accepted, it becomes a contract. Once it becomes a contract, it is binding on both the parties. Then you cannot call back or revoke your offer. If you want to revoke it before it is accepted by the other person. An offer lapses. Okay, offer comes to an end when you revoke it. So you give the offer and then you realize, oh, I didn't want to give the offer. Now you want to call it back. Calling back is revocation. An offer lapses if the offerer revokes or calls back, that is withdraws the offer. An offer may be revoked at any time before it is accepted by the offeree. So before Y posts his letter of acceptance, X, you have time limit. You can revoke your offer. You can revoke any time before 8th of April. This revocation must be communicated. It must be made known to the offeree before he accepts the offer. So X has time limit up to 8th of April. But he has to communicate his revocation in some manner. So you can write a telegram. See, you have to communicate by a faster means. So now you gave the offer. Yes, you gave the offer via letter. Y is going to reply by 8th of April. So you should ensure that your revocation reaches Y before he posts the letter. So there are various ways of revocation, like telegram. You can send out telegram, but that service is now discontinued by the post authority because nobody uses telegram. You can call the person. You can visit that person if possible, or you can send maybe by courier, speed post. Try to send your revocation by a faster means of communication so that it reaches before Y posts his acceptance. Again, I repeat, we are going to discuss this in more detail when we discuss communication of offer and acceptance. Let us talk about bidding at an auction. Now, what is bid? It's nothing but an offer. What is acceptance? Striking of hammer. Excellent. Very good. This is how we revise the concepts. So, bidding at an auction is offer. Now, you made a bid of 50,000. Then you realize I don't have 50,000 in my account. You want to withdraw your bid. You can withdraw it anytime before striking of hammer, anytime before your offer, your bid is accepted. See, once the hammer is struck, once your bid is accepted, then it becomes a contract. Once it becomes a contract, then you cannot withdraw your offer. Offer is accepted. Then nothing can be done. Then you will have to pay for it. You will have to make arrangements of 50,000. But before the hammer is struck, before your offer is accepted, revocation of offer is possible. So in this case, bidding is offer. Striking of hammer is acceptance. So you gave the offer, you made a bid, now you want to withdraw it. You can withdraw it anytime before the hammer is struck. Because after the hammer is struck, your offer will be considered accepted. It's a valid contract. Then you will not be able to do anything. There cannot be a concluded contract, okay, after the offer is revoked. All right. So if you revoke the offer, offer lapses. Now it cannot be accepted. So can I say when the offer lapses, offer comes to an end, now it cannot be accepted? You cannot form a contract. Yes, it cannot be accepted. Offer ends. Lapse of time. Very interesting. Now X offers to sell his flat to Y, but asks Y to reply within 7 days. So X offered to sell his flat to Y, but asked Y to reply within 7 days. Now Y replied after 15 days. Is it a valid acceptance? No, we had given you a time limit of 7 days. After 7 days, offer will lapse. You cannot accept it now. Offer ended. He asked Y to reply within 7 days time. Why? Aram se. Replies after 15 days. Hello, this is not a valid acceptance. On expiry of 7 days, offer lapses. Offer comes to an end. Now it cannot be accepted. Let's take a very practical example. There was a sale, okay, in one of the mall. And the sale was from 7th of January to 26th of January. You did not get time to attend the sale. You went on 30th January and you are asking them to give you at the same discounted price that was between this period. Will you get it? No, on 26th Jan, midnight, offer comes to an end. Offer lapses. Now from 27th onwards, you will have to purchase the goods at the full price. So after 26th, offer lapses. Once the time gets over, offer lapses. Ma'am, in this case, the time was specified. What if time is not specified? Then offer lapses on expiry of reasonable time. What is reasonable? That's not defined in law. It depends on the facts and circumstances of the case. Now, let's say, for example, that X offers to sell his flat to Y and he made this offer in the month of June. Y gave his acceptance in the month of December. Time limit was not specified as to what is the time limit by which you should accept the offer. Nothing was mentioned. So then, do you think that giving the offer in June and accepting it in December is a reasonable time? Apply facts, apply your logic. Time is not specified. Will this be considered as reasonable time? Ma'am, 6 months gap? That's not reasonable. By applying logic, we can conclude that offer accepted in the month of June will not be a valid acceptance. After reasonable time, offer lapsed. This is not valid acceptance. So in this case, X offered to sell the flat to Y in the month of June and Y communicated in the month of December. This 6 months is not a reasonable time. X is not bound to sell the flat as his offer was not accepted within a reasonable time. What is reasonable? It is not defined in law. It depends on the facts and circumstances of each case. So you have to apply your logic. Sometimes 6 months may not be considered as a reasonable time, and at times 6 months may be considered reasonable. So everything depends on the facts, circumstances of the case. Ma'am, how will we understand this in the exam? You just tell us that. Just use your logic, use your understanding, and write that 6 months is not considered reasonable. Write that assumption. You will get marks. When the time is fixed for acceptance, then the offer must be accepted within a fixed time. If it is not accepted within a fixed time, then the offer lapses. Offer comes to an end on the expiry of the fixed time. Automatically, when the time is over, offer lapses. Once the offer lapses, it comes to an end. Now you cannot accept it. If no time is prescribed, so highlight these separately. When the time is fixed for acceptance, then you should accept it within the fixed time. If you don't, offer will automatically lapse on the on the expiry of the fixed time. Time was not prescribed. No time is prescribed. Then the offer lapses on expiry of a reasonable time. What is reasonable? Just a minute. What is reasonable? That's not given in act. It depends upon the facts and circumstances of the case. Lapse by death, insanity of offerer, offeree before acceptance. This is very important. Before acceptance. Now, pay attention. X offered to sell his flat to Y for 50 lakhs. He gave the offer, then he died. Now Y knows about the death. Y is aware. So will Y give acceptance? No, ma'am. Y is aware of the death. So how will he give his, and why will he give his acceptance when he knows that X is no longer alive to fulfill his promise? So in this case, offer lapses. But Y accepts the offer in ignorance of death. He is not aware that X died. Now in this case, Y has given his acceptance in ignorance of the death. Offer is accepted, contract comes into existence. So here, contract comes into existence, but ma'am, X has died. How will he perform his promise? Now you're saying that contract comes into existence, but X has died. In this case, the legal representative of X, see, whenever a person dies, his legal representative, maybe his lawyer, his legal heir, someone who's representing him in legal matters, that person will perform the promise. So the legal representative shall perform the promise. Okay? So X gave the offer, then he died. Y knows about it. He will not give the acceptance. Offer lapses. But if Y accepts the offer in ignorance, then yes, a contract comes into existence. The legal representative of X will then perform the promise. Let's discuss further. I hope you paused the video and wrote this. Yes. X offered to sell his flat to Y for 50 lakhs. He gave the offer and the offeree died before accepting. Okay. Now, in the first scenario, we discussed about death of offerer. Okay, we discussed about death of offerer. Now, let us discuss death of offeree. X gave the offer, but before acceptance, Y died. What will happen to the offer? Offer lapses. Offer lapses. Y has died before acceptance. Nobody is in the position to perform that. Nobody is in the position to accept it. Offer lapses. What if X gave the offer to Y? Y communicated acceptance. Then Y died. Then what will happen? Died after acceptance. Here died before acceptance. Now what if X died after acceptance? It remains the same. The legal representative will perform the promise. So in case of death, legal representative can perform if a contract is made. This is not in your this is not discussed in the concept, but I know you may have this doubt, so I thought of discussing it over here only. All right, let us now read it from the textbook. If the offerer dies, okay, they are talking about the offerer. If the offerer either dies or becomes insane before acceptance. So X gave the offer and then he dies. What if Y is aware of the death? Offer lapses. Because now they know that X has died. They will not accept it. Offer lapses. But if Y is ignorant of X's death and Y accepts it, then a contract is made. A valid contract comes into existence. Who will perform it? The legal representative of X will then perform the contract. So offerer dies before acceptance. This fact is known by the offeree before acceptance, then offer lapses. But a valid contract will be concluded. Okay, a valid contract will be concluded if the offeree accepts in ignorance of the death or insanity of the offerer. In case of death, the contract will be performed by the legal representative. In case of insanity, the contract will be performed by the guardian. Okay, guardian. You can write it. In case of insanity, contracts are generally performed by guardian. All right. In case of death or insanity of the offeree before acceptance. Offer lapses. Offer lapses. Offeree became insane or offeree died before acceptance. Offer lapses. Offer can be accepted by the offeree only. It cannot be accepted by the legal heir or any other person. See, in this case, what they wish to say is that when the offer is given, okay, when the offer is given and the offeree dies before acceptance, then the offer cannot be accepted by any other person. Offer lapses. But what if X gave the offer? Y gave acceptance. Then Y dies. Only in this case, the legal representative can perform. So legal representative can perform once the contract is made. Legal representative or legal heir or your guardian, they cannot give the offer. They cannot give acceptance on your behalf. They can only perform your promises after the contract is made. Are you getting me? By failure to accept the condition precedent. Write down the meaning of precedent. Precedent means before. Very interesting example given here itself. Now, X offers to sell a television set to Y for 25,000, but he had a condition that you have to give 5,000 rupees along with your acceptance. Now, Y gave the acceptance, but he did not pay 5,000 rupees as advance. Offer lapses. The condition is not satisfied. I had asked you to pay the advance along with your acceptance. You did not fulfill the condition. That condition was required before you give acceptance. You did not give the advance. Offer lapses. Offerer may impose certain conditions. Like you need to execute a document, like you need to sign something, or you need to deposit some money before acceptance. Offer will lapse if the acceptance is given without fulfilling the condition. Counter offer. Yes, X offers to sell his car to B for 2 lakh rupees. B says, no, 2 lakhs is a lot of amount. I will buy it for 1,50,000. Will you sell it? So in this case, B rejected the original offer. Okay, he rejected the original offer and he gave a new offer altogether. This is nothing but a counter offer. Now, when the original offer is rejected, can we say that the original offer lapses and a new offer is made altogether? That is nothing but a counter offer. Offer lapses if a counter offer is made because counter offer amounts to rejection of the original offer. It's not acceptance. In fact, counter offer is a new offer altogether. Over here, students, I would like you to write rejection means offer lapses. Although I have written it over here for you, but still, the more we write, the better we will get at the concept. So, offer lapses. Okay. Don't worry about repetition. We are learning a new subject. We need to keep on writing and we need to keep on practicing. Only then we will be able to remember everything properly. So, A offers to sell his car to B for 2 lakhs. B rejects the offer, gives her new offer altogether. When he rejects the offer, offer lapses. Counter offer does not amount to acceptance. It's a new offer altogether, which may be either accepted or rejected by the other party. Yes? By not accepting it in the prescribed mode. Mode was specified. You should have accepted the offer in that mode only. Now, this we are going to study in acceptance also. Let me give you a note for this. And then when we study this in acceptance, my work is already over. Okay, then I will not repeat the explanation over there. So please pay attention. X offered to sell his car to Y for rupees 5 lakhs. And he tells Y, see, reply via courier only. I don't trust these regular post people. You have to reply by courier only. So X offered to sell his car to Y, but he asked Y to send his letter of acceptance by courier only. The mode is specified. The mode of acceptance is specified. Then in that case, Y must send his acceptance by courier only. Now let's say that Y sends acceptance, okay, sends letter of acceptance by courier. Very good. Happy situation. We had asked for courier. You sent a courier. Acceptance is valid. The contract is also valid. Okay, happy situation. The problem arises when Y sends letter of acceptance by regular post. Now in this case, Mr. X has two options. He is a very sunky fellow. He's mad. He's crazy. I had asked you to send your reply by courier, na? Why did you send it by regular post? Reject. I don't want this. I don't want this. You should have sent by courier only. He's sunky, mad, crazy. Mr. X, he rejects the other mode. If he rejects the other mode, offer lapses. Now X wanted the reply by courier. Why did not send courier? So this is not valid acceptance. My offer lapses. So if he rejects the other mode, this is not valid acceptance. If it is not valid acceptance, it means offer lapses. But what if X is a very kind-hearted fellow? It's okay. Why did not send by courier? But at least he sent his letter of acceptance. At least my car is sold. All right. I will accept the other mode. So he accepts the other mode. Now this will be considered as a valid acceptance. And the contract will also be valid. But can he later on, let's say after 6 months, can he say, no, now I want to cancel the contract because you did not send your reply by courier? See, you had an option to reject the other mode, but you decided to accept the other mode. Now it is a valid contract. Later you cannot cancel the contract and say, no, now I don't want to sell my car because you did not send your reply by courier. You don't have that option of rejection now. So in this case, if he accepts the other mode, Mr. X cannot cancel the contract later on the grounds that acceptance was not made in the prescribed mode. There is one extra point which I just shift the note. It is too much to the right. Okay, now in this case, I would like to add one extra point. See, Mr. X, you have an option. If you want to reject the other mode, you are a sunky fellow, or you are like, no, I had asked you to send by courier. You should have sent by courier only. You want to reject it? Okay, but please reject within a reasonable time. If you fail to do so, then we will assume that you are okay. You have accepted the other mode and a valid contract will come into existence. So rejection, this is a note. The rejection must be within a reasonable time. Okay. If you don't reject within reasonable time, then we will assume that other mode is accepted and a contract will come into existence. Let's revise. X offered to sell his car to Y for 5 lakh. He asked Y to send the reply by courier only. So the mode of acceptance is specified. Y sends courier. Very good. Happy situation. Valid contract comes into existence. But he sends his letter of acceptance by regular post. Problem arises. Mr. X has two options. He is a sunky, crazy fellow. I had asked you to send courier. Why did you send the regular post? Reject. I don't want this. The acceptance is not valid. Offer lapses. But this rejection must be within a reasonable time. If he fails, then on the expiry of reasonable time, we will assume that he has accepted the other mode. He accepts the other mode. Then it is valid acceptance. Valid contract comes into existence. But later on, he cannot cancel the contract saying that no, you had not sent courier that time. Now I want to cancel the contract. Once accepted, always accepted. Then later on, you cannot change your mind. Students, please note Make a note of this in your textbook. I'll just zoom it so that you can write it properly. Done? Very good. Now, when you read all this from the textbook, you will realize that I have covered each and every point. Yeah, it starts from here. Offer lapses if it is not accepted in the prescribed mode. No mode is prescribed. Accepted in some reasonable, usual mode. Usual, reasonable manner. Like, I have given you an offer, but I have not specified the manner of acceptance. So you can send a courier, letter, email, fax, call me, come and accept it. Any usual mode. It is important to note that if the offeree does not accept the offer according to the prescribed mode, offer does not lapse automatically. It is for the offerer to insist that the proposal should be accepted in that prescribed mode only. If the offerer fails to insist, we will assume that he has accepted that other mode. Ma'am, what is it saying? In this case, he has two options, either reject or accept. We will consider that the other mode is accepted unless and until you go and reject it. Did you understand? It means that X has to communicate his rejection. If he does not, then we will assume that you have accepted the other mode. So you have to communicate your rejection. So over here, the offer does not lapse automatically. Offerer can insist that no, send courier only, otherwise I will not accept. If he fails to insist, then we will assume that he has accepted the other mode. If you feel that this is a little difficult to remember, you can write what I have written in your own words. You can convert this table into sentence form. By rejection of the offer by offeree. Now, A offered to sell his motorbike to B. B says, no, I don't want to buy it. Offer rejected. Offer lapses. X proposes to Y. Will you marry me? Y says no. Offer lapses. Offer lapses if it is rejected by the offeree. By subsequent illegality or destruction of subject matter. We will discuss illegality first and then we will discuss destruction of subject matter. Now let us discuss illegality. P is in India and he offers to export onions to Q in Russia. He gave an offer, but before acceptance, the government imposed a ban on the export. Can you export now? Can you enter into this contract? No, offer lapses before acceptance. I know what you're thinking. Ma'am. P gave the offer. Q accepted the offer. And then a ban is imposed. You answer this question. P gave the offer. Q gave his acceptance. Contract comes into existence. And then a ban is imposed. Of course, the contract will become void in that case. Very good. Acha, let's discuss destruction of subject matter. M offers to sell his car to N. But before acceptance, the car is destroyed in floods. Okay, M had offered to sell, but before N could accept the offer, car is destroyed. Can N accept it now? Offer lapses. But what if M gave the offer? N also gave his acceptance. Okay, M gave the offer. N gave the acceptance. A valid contract is formed. And then there is destruction. I don't want any other car. I want this car only. The contract then becomes void. Okay. So here, because the destruction took place before acceptance, now the offer cannot be accepted. The car is not in existence. Offer lapses. Offer lapses. So students, these are the different modes of lapse of offer. Can be asked as a theory question. In my next session, I will discuss with you acceptance of offer. Now, wait a minute. We are progressing very fast. I'm trying to give you notes, trying to underline everything. Up till now, we have not discussed even a single question. Be patient. I will discuss it very soon. But I want your concepts to be clear. I want you to know what are keywords, how to make notes, how to read and understand the language of law. So give yourself some time. Now what you can do is, you can pick up any concept and you can write these points. First you copy them. Copy them once or twice, close the book, and then try to recall everything and write. Compare what you have written with what is given in the textbook. Once you find your mistakes, you will remember them forever. So the more you write and practice, the better you will get, and your concepts will be very strong eventually. So will you do that exercise for me? Just go on reading, copy it once or twice, then close your notebook, and then you write it on a separate piece of paper and compare your answer with the textbook. Even if there are 100 mistakes, you're still learning. There's a lot of time for your exam. You can still improve. But if you don't write and practice, if you just keep on listening to the lectures, then I don't think that you will be able to solve the questions as effectively as I want. So please do this exercise before we start solving the questions. Alright, will you do this for me? Okay. If you have any query, please get in touch with me. You have my mobile number. And also share this with your friends, that how you are enjoying law, how you are gaining confidence, how you are understanding the concept so easily. Please share it with your friends and they can purchase the lectures from my website capreetyagarwal.com. So with this, I end today's session and I will see you next time with a new concept.